That was pretty rad. I can't tell you how much Diane appreciated that party last week.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She liked it.
You spent the whole time standing on the cushion,
I was
singing
ready.
your heart out.
I don't like singing on the microphone, but I love to sing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be the center of attention, but I want to be pretty damn close to it.
If I had told her that we were gonna do that, she never would have did it.
But she was singing too. Like,
She loved it. She had a blast. She was like on a high for 3 or 4 days after that.
Really?
That's so
Yeah.
cute.
That's cool.
She
I
kept
was so
talking about
surprised
it.
that she went to chicken, that y'all went to chicken and pickle with us.
Yeah. I almost damaged my oil pan because I couldn't find a place to park.
Oh my God.
And I went off the concrete and onto the, and it went, and then I was like, oh my God. And I was driving Diane's car and I was like, oh my God, please, please, please. And it took me a while to figure out a way to get out of there. And then I finally got out of there and found a parking place right by the gate, you know, but
You went off-road.
I had to climb under the car and make sure there was no oil leaking and all that, but
Yeah, we had to park over there too. And Ryan and Carlos were in like their SUV, and still we were like, that's fucking crazy.
so yeah, it was a blast. Okay, let me read this. This is about April. The April, the month of healing and wellness. When you open your door in April, a symphony of nature's music awaits you. Birds are singing their songs of hope and freedom, while winds whisper through the trees full of tender green leaves. The fullness display of nature's beauty awaits you. Of course, the most heavily scented of her flowers have yet to spread their petals. Your heart flutters with optimism when you see life emerging and flourishing. Much that seemed to wither last winter has come back to life in new and surprising ways, reminding you not to discount the healing powers of rest and surrender. Warmer days are luring you outside. Heed that invitation. Sink your feet into the grass and feel your worries melt and flow down into Gaia's thick roots, away from you, leaving you lighter and happier. Whatever you have carried over from winter, make one final release here and now. April is a month of hope and a month of healing. April is the triumph of light over darkness, and it represents your own ability to perceive through intense challenges, to persevere through intense challenges. Think about it. You have survived them all. It's saying you have survived all your past challenges. You are a warrior, a survivor, and a teacher. You are a creator and a builder and a steward. Honor the fullness of the expression of life that you are. How many people have you helped along the path? This world is a better place because of you. Once you acknowledge that and forgive yourself and begin to integrate your wisdom, you will finally access that healing you have always waited on. Healing is the outcome of love, and the most important person you need to love is you. Use the invocations and the blessings in this chapter to call in the healing you seek on physical, emotional, and spiritual levels. Living a well life is your birthright. Now is the time, and you are ready. Once you engage your faith, nothing is impossible. Amen. In my host, so be it.
If you can't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can you get
Amen, sister.
No, let the music play.
All right. I want y'all to repeat after me, and then we'll have a little discussion before we do the meditation, okay? Y'all ready for the callback?
Yeah.
All right. It says, don't repeat this, but it says, they call into your healing angels for healing, balance, and alignment. Let me see here. Huh? This is weird. Okay. At this new moon, I seek wellness and balance
At this new moon, I seek wellness and balance
of body, mind, and spirit.
of body, mind, and spirit.
I call in alignment,
I call in alignment,
health and peace,
health and peace,
blood and bone,
blood and bone,
clean and pure,
clean and pure,
free of disease. Free of disease frequencies.
free of disease frequencies,
Chakras flowing, energy moving freely.
chakras flowing, energy moving freely.
I channel the sacred life force.
I channel the sacred life force.
I am aware of my access
I am aware of my access
to all wisdom throughout time,
to all wisdom throughout time,
and my ability to unlock healing codes
and my ability to unlock healing codes
at this new moon
at this new moon
for my wellness and highest good.
for my wellness and highest good.
Source, Mother Goddess and Great Spirit,
Source, Mother Goddess and Great Spirit,
Father God,
Father God,
I call in your breath of life,
I call in your breath of life,
your healing waters of the west,
your healing waters of the west,
your sacred fires of the south,
your sacred fires of the south,
your grounding trees of the north,
your grounding trees of the north,
to heal, transform, and protect me
to heal, transform, and protect me
from harm,
from harm,
now and always.
now and always.
So may it be.
So may it be.
Amen.
Amen.
Imaho,
Imaho,
and so it is.
and so it is.
So it is.
That is so weird because that is not what I read earlier. And I can't even find the prayer that I read earlier. That is so bizarre.
I feel like I'm in a Catholic church. How bizarre.
How bizarre.
How bizarre.
How bizarre.
He's on TikTok now too.
Yeah. That is so wild. What the heck was I reading earlier? All right, so talking about flourishing. Last week we said we were pregnant. Now the baby's out of the womb and flourishing and growing and turning bright green and all the colors of spring. Any thoughts around what we just read?
Well, I like that it said like April is the month of like coming out of darkness and seeing light, and I think that like I kind of had that revolution the other day because I walked outside and like the grass was dead, the tree was dead, everything was dead in the winter, and I went outside and I was like, oh my god, fresh new green leaves and the pink flowers in the corner, and I'm like, yes, finally colors are back, and I'm just super happy, and I do think that April's going to be a good month because we're going to be able to go swimming, we're going to be able to be outside more. Yeah.
And we're starting tourist season.
Starting what? Tourist season?
Tourist season.
Oh, Taurus. I thought I said tourist season.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you do with the?
Zodiac sign?
Huh?
What is your zodiac sign?
Aries,
Yeah, he's
the ram.
I'm a Cancer.
We go in
Yeah.
succession. Aries, Taurus, then we have Gemini, and then you have Cancer. All right together.
Groovy. Felix, did you get anything out of that reading? What thoughts arise for you around spring and April?
When you said the warmth is bringing us outside,
Yeah.
that is true. It does bring us outside a lot, not only just with activities of fun, but with daily work and all kinds of things.
Yeah, you probably go through the winter having to work outside in the
I am
cold,
excited
right?
about that because I do love the heat. I do not like the cold at all.
Mhm.
So it being hot outside and getting hotter is like, I like it. That's what I like. So.
Mm.
Taylor?
What do you think about this part where it says, heed the invitation to go outside, sink your feet into the grass and feel your worries melt and flow down into Gaia's thick roots, away from you, leaving you lighter and happier. Whatever you carried over from winter, make one final release here and now.
Underneath
What are you still hanging on to?
Yeah, I feel like April and like March and April always feel like months of renewal.
Yeah.
As we're coming into spring, and I mean basically what it's saying is like go outside, see the new growth, see that life is coming back to the earth, and know that like everything passes in seasons, and so like release all your negative shit, release everything from like the winter that was holding you down, and just know that like this is your period of renewal and rebirth that you can I don't know, bloom like a flower.
You know, I come in contact quite often with people that have been damaged by the winters of their life, and they hang on to it and have hung on to it for years, you know, past hurts, past traumas, and never have been able to let it go. And it's actually one of the saddest things I ever see, you know, that you know, winter is a season, but whatever happened to them in that part of their life, they've never allowed spring to let it go or fully embrace spring. They're still stuck in that winter of years ago. You know what I mean? And it could be stuff from their childhood or divorce or loss of job or other things, but it has physically, mentally, and spiritually changed them in a negative way. And so they're never able to experience, and I'm just using metaphors here, but you know, the beauty of the tree, the green trees, and the beauty of the flowers, and the beauty of the scent in the air, and all the stuff that's wonderful around them. Inside of their bubble, there's still the winter of that divorce or that childhood or that whatever, you know. And you know, that's the lens that they're seeing the world. You know, outside it's like the VR thing. You know, it's like, yeah, you're outside in the most beautiful place in the world, but they have these VR goggles where it's like Game of Thrones, the winter is coming, you know, and there's these ice giants and stuff coming at them, you know, when they're literally sitting in a beautiful field full of flowers. They're seeing the winter, you know. So... And I've been tempted to do that before when things have happened to me, hang on to them for too long, you know. And that's kind of what kept me in addiction for a while. Not knowing how to process that or had any other coping skills but alcohol, you know. So you guys are fortunate in the way that y'all have each other, and plus we talk about these type of things, and you can share it with other people too.
So true.
So,
and you can like spot those people too, like the people that are trapped in that.
Yeah.
It's like if you would just step out of it, like just remove the goggles.
yeah. Those are like the Karens of the world and stuff.
Yeah.
They're acting out of their being triggered. You know. All right, why don't we do about 5 minutes of meditation? And then I'll talk about that stuff that y'all confirmed that I'm supposed to be talking about today.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. invite you to imagine, with your eyes closed, breathe in through your nose. That in the spirit, you stand up and walk around this room, or whatever room you're in, and suddenly in the spirit you notice that there's a spiritual door in that room that you can't see, or you've never been able to see with your physical eyes. And now in the spirit, you notice that this door has always been here. And you reach down and you touch the doorknob. And you give it a twist and slowly open up this spiritual door. And as you look out, you see a path leading through the forest. And you move through the threshold of the door, closing it behind you. And now you're standing in a very thick, wooded forest. But there's a well-worn path. The path is good size. It's straight. And as you look around, you can see the path goes on straight ahead of you. And as you look up, you see the canopy of the trees. You see the sun glistening down through the green leaves. You hear the birds singing and flying from tree to tree. This forest is alive with the sound of birds singing their beautiful songs. And you take a step and you notice the most beautiful flowers growing throughout the forest. And you begin walking down the path. The path is level. The path is straight. The path is soft and yet firm. And on each side of you, you're passing huge green, beautiful leaves, huge, wonderful flowers. There are reds, there are yellows, there are blues, there are purples. There are flowers that are a combination of all the colors. As you ascend the path, you smell the fragrance of the forest, the smell of the earth, the fragrance of the flowers, and you hear the songs of the birds, and it is a completely friendly, welcoming, healing, safe place to be. And as you continue walking down the path, can see ahead in the distance. There's a park bench in the clearing. And walking down the path, you reach up and grab a leaf and feel how smooth and wonderful and soft the leaf is. With the other hand, you reach up and you lightly touch one of the huge flowers. How soft and velvety. And you feel the positive energy generating from the flower. And you can smell its scent as you continue walking, enjoying the breeze blowing through the trees. Everything is a flow of energy. As you continue walking, you're getting closer to the park bench. And as you get closer, you come to a clearing where the canopy of the trees are open above you, and the sun's rays are flowing down like a waterfall of light into this circle of energy around this park bench. And you go over to the bench and you sit down to bask in the sun, to bask in the light. And you look up and you see a blue sky, white clouds, sun, yellow, shining, bright, its golden rays, and you feel its warmth on your skin. And you see the beauty of the forest all around you. And now you notice to your right that there's another path that goes off in a different direction. And walking down that path towards you, you notice is someone that you want to spend time with. A mentor, a friend, a family member, a loved one, an angel, Jesus, a saint, your guardian angel, someone you love who has passed. You can imagine or visualize anyone who is trying to make contact with you right now. And you see them look up and see you and smile as they're walking towards the bench. And they step over and smile and look into your eyes and embrace you and kiss you on the forehead and hold you tight. And then they sit down beside you on the bench. And they too are basking in the radiant sunlight, basking in the energy and the healing forces of the forest. And they reach over and hold your hand and smile at you. And they are full of love and full of light and full of kindness. And they are happy to see you. happy to know that you're okay, and you're happy to know that they're okay. And they say, there's always something that I wanted to tell you. And they pull from their pocket a notepad and a pencil, and they quickly write something down in this notepad. They're scribing away, writing a few words, a few sentences on this piece of paper. And after they finish writing it, they tear it out of the notepad and they fold it up. And they fold it and they fold it into a tiny piece, a tiny square. And then they reach over and place it in the palm of your hand. They put the notepad away into their pocket, put the pencil away in their pocket. They reach over and give you another embrace and another kiss. They look deeply into your eyes and smile and wish you well and wish you life and wish you peace and wish you healing. They kiss you again and they get up and depart, walking back down, away from the bench, back to the path from where they came, back into the forest, until you can't see them again. They disappear in the lush green beauty and shade of their path. And now looking back down in the glowing light and the beauty and the wonderful sunlight, you look at the palm of your hand and you slowly start unfolding the note that they left you. You unfold it once, you unfold it twice, you unfold it 3 times until it's completely open. And now you can read clearly what they wrote, the thing that they always wanted to tell you. It's clearly written on that magical small piece of paper in the palm of your hand. And you read what this wonderful message from Spirit, this message only for you, for what you need to hear at this time, is written clearly. And if you cannot see it clearly at this time, or if you can read it, what's written on this paper will say different things to you at different times. And so knowing that you will always have it with you, and you can always pull it out whenever you want to, and you can read it again and again, and what you need to hear will be on it. You slowly fold it back up, place it in your pocket, and you look up at the sun and smile. You look up at the clouds and the blue sky and smile. Taking in the last rays of the sun from this area, you get up. Start making your way back to the path that you need to be on. You enter in to the path, into the shade of the forest, under the canopy, where the sounds of the birds are more intense, where there are flowers and trees and green leaves, walking back towards the door. Walking, your steps are light. There's happiness in your heart. There's joy. There's peace. There's love. And you take in the last few breaths of the forest. And you say goodbye to the birds and the flowers and the trees as you come to the door. And you reach down and grab the knob, opening the door, stepping back through the door into the room, walking back to your body, entering your body. You're back with all the knowledge and the wisdom and the peace and the love and the healing that you gained from your experience. Knowing that that loved one will always be with you, and the wisdom that they wrote down will always be with you. Anytime you want to take it out and look at it, you simply have to close your eyes and visualize it. But now you're back in your body, back in the room, at perfect peace, with perfect awareness, with love in your heart.
That was so intense.
Anyone want to talk about their experience or anything that they're feeling now?
That was just really nice.
In my forest, I had roses so big that I laid on them like beds.
So just enjoy that peace and that feeling that you feel right now. And just cherish that encounter, that experience. I'm going to lay down some cards, but first I want to tell you about what I was talking about earlier. So I had a conversation with a friend last night over the phone, and it's funny that you brought up the dream you had about grandma, and you know how your dad contacts you in ways that take a little bit more coordination and wherewithal to put everything together so that you know it's him. It's almost like you don't even realize it until after the fact, you know. The conversation I was having with this friend of mine is that she said that she feels closer to God now that she's not a Christian. And I said, you know, I feel the same way. I feel like God speaks to me more now than when I was living as a born-again Christian, going to church all the time. You know, we've all had that. We've known people that were like in the friend zone with a girl, but they wanted more than that. I didn't mean to look at you, Felix. I know you're not in the friend zone. But like some of my buddies growing up would try to convince a girl that they would make a good boyfriend, you know, and they would say, you know, I'd be so good to you. I would buy you things. I would treat you like the queen you are. And the girls would be like, you know, Melvin, I see you as a brother, you know, I don't want to ruin our friendship, you know. But they would keep forcing it, you know, and trying to use logic instead of, you know, you don't fall in love with somebody through logic. It's through the heart, and it's unexplainable, you know. Love doesn't come through words or negotiation or through the head. It comes through the heart, you know. And so you can't convince somebody to be in love with you. They either feel it or they don't, you know. And so when I was living as a born-again Christian, it felt very forced. Like I was trying to convince God I was going to be a good boyfriend, you know. If you'll just love me, I will go to your church every Sunday. I'll go every Wednesday. I will pray to you. I will hang out with only people that like you. Your friends will be my friends, you know. And it was very in the head, you know. And it was very forced, like always trying to, you know, it was like God had me in the friend zone, you know. And I was always trying to convince God that he should love me and that we should have this relationship. And God was like, I'm just not into you like that. I think of you more as a friend, as a, you know, God. Yeah. I mean, we can hang out sometimes or whatever, but like, don't call me, I'll call you. You know? You know? And then now that I don't have all that stress and all that anxiety and not trying to force the relationship, now I feel like God is on every corner, everywhere, you know. And where I would study the Bible and pray that God would speak to me through the Bible, or that the preacher, you know, God would speak to me through the preacher, or that in prayer, if I just prayed long enough, or if I fasted, or if I did everything right, suddenly God would speak to me. Where now it's just like little things. You know, it might be see somebody's license plate on their car and it'll say, you know, something, or, you know, a chance encounter with somebody, a conversation with a stranger. Or I might be thinking something and just suddenly see it online, or somebody will say it, you know. And it's like God saying, I'm speaking to you through your heart, not through your head. Like, you never had to force it. You know, I've always been in love with you. I'm always going to love you.
And I feel like when you're not trying to find God in your everyday life, when you're not like forcing everything to be about God, like something will happen and then you'll be like, oh, thanks God. You know? You know what I mean?
And you know, like with like trying to talk a girl into loving you, nobody likes what's the word I'm looking for, when you're so like clingy, like you're trying to coax something out of somebody that they don't necessarily want, you know. It's kind of a turn off, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with that, because we go sit in church like on Sundays, and all I could think of was like, okay, like, send me a message in the sermon, like, tell me what I need to hear, like, every week, like, please tell me what I need to hear. And I would never, like, be fulfilled by that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there would just be a priest going on, waxing poetic about something that I didn't understand or didn't care about.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I don't, like, subscribe to that way of life anymore, you're right, I feel God so much more in the little things. In, like, just things that pop up in conversation, or, like, you're just, like, out somewhere and something happens and you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
I feel like too, like, instead of me, like, forcing the relationship, like, oh, like, this happened, thank you, God. Like, I had to physically think, oh, that was God, thank you. But now, it's in my subconscious that, like, something good happens, or I see clouds a certain way, and it'll say, God, you know, and then I'll be like, oh, thank you. You know, like, He'll let me know when He did something for me, or when He's reminding me that He's there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is gonna sound weird, but the other day, I had no socks. Like, all my socks were dirty, right? So I'm, like, digging through my sock drawer. I'm like, oh, I just really need some. And then I close the drawer, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I look over, and on the side of the drawer is a pair of socks. The color that I wanted, the type that I wanted, everything that I wanted. And I was like, oh, thanks God. That was really nice.
God got me.
You made those appear right there in thin air, because those were not there before. And then Maddie came over later, and I was telling her how that happened to me, and I thought it was awesome. And she was like, that's so crazy, because that exact thing happened to her. She was looking for these socks. She couldn't find them in her drawer, and she shut them, and then the socks were over there on the ground. She was like, oh. So it's so cool how, like, little things like that, you're just like, you know, I don't know, things
Yeah.
like that. But
No, I mean, I totally get it. I mean, that's the freedom of not trying to force things. Like, God even cares about your socks,
yeah.
you know? Whereas my other personality, my other self was always thinking that God was mad at me for some reason.
I
You
think
know?
your relationship with God just tremendously gets better whenever you don't see Him as a punishing, vengeful God.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest issue in people having trouble with their relationship with God.
Or you, like, ascend the rules of religion.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the rules that, like, people have made for you. It's just about your connection to whatever exists beyond us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whether you call it God or the universe or whatever, just being open to it and being thankful of it, for giving you the things that it gives you,
Mm-hmm.
transcends, like, sitting in a pew and being like, please give me a sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rules of man or the rules of religion will block out God, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's like gatekeeping God from you.
Yeah, 100% gatekeeping, you know, and there are great Christians that love God from their heart, and maybe, you know, I'm not saying anything wrong with going to church or anything like that, you know, but from my experience, like, talk about gatekeeping, I used to go to a church where the pastor would stand at the front door of the church and shake everybody's hand, welcoming them, and he would, like, grab my hand and squeeze it and say, Brother Clark, we missed you last Sunday.
Ugh.
You okay? Is everything okay? And then, like, I had this shock of guilt and, like, oh my God, and then embarrassment, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, my aunt died, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it, you know, coming up with these excuses. Oh well, brother, we sure missed you. Oh, we're praying for you. And it's like, God, man, you encounter guilt right at the front door, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And does God really care if I missed last Sunday? No.
No.
Would God want me, like, on Sunday out with my nieces and my daughters and my brother out playing at a park somewhere in Seguin or somewhere? Isn't that worshiping God too?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's how I used to feel too, like, just the guilt that went along with religion was just, it just drives you down.
Yeah.
It makes you feel some type of way about yourself that you shouldn't feel in
Yep.
a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts?
I love when he's put on the song. He's like,
He just pulls his shirt up and it says only God.
Yeah, all right.
I love when he's put on the song. He's like,
I do feel like my relationship with God is closer from when I was younger. Cause like when I was younger, like the Bible was like real forced on me, and like I had to go to church every Wednesday. Like every Wednesday we were at church.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was at church because the school I went to, and like I just never got a message out of it, and I never understood. And like we read the Bible from cover to cover, and so like it didn't stick with me, and like now like that I understand like that it's not just like him punishing you for things that you do. It's him loving you for whatever you do, you know? So now like I'm more comfortable with being able to like speak to God and like just be closer to him, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we all know God is a woman.
or whatever area on my Grande said.
whatever Mary saying goes.
He could even, he's whatever, he's anything. Black, white,
God is Idris
Mexican.
Elba. Oh, you know.
God is just a develop energy.
So I laid down 3 cards, and so let's pull them and kind of talk about them for a little bit. Ooh, talk about the sun. Walking out in the forest and seeing the beautiful sun.
Right with life for April.
Here you go, Kayla. Boom, rapid fire. What do you see there?
You can see right there.
The sun is right behind me. Yeah,
This is Charlie on the horse.
it's a Charlie horse.
There's sunflowers. Life is blooming. Everyone's having a grand old time.
That's like basically the forest I saw.
Is that not Charlie almost?
Because of the wild hair.
It's the little tininess and the curly hair from
The tiniest. That looks like a child.
Don't you work with kids?
You know what's crazy is that there is a child at my work that looks exactly like you when you were a child. Did I tell you that last week? It's so weird. I look at him and I feel like I'm looking at old pictures of you.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, what's your real name?
Who's your mother?
All right.
When were you
What's
born?
your name? Who's your daddy? Does he look like? So everything that we talked about in the meditation came up on this card randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the child on the horse doesn't have a saddle or anything, just going wild, just
Yeah,
trusting the
wild.
universe, carefree.
It's giving me an actual picture.
Hell yeah.
Good vibes from that card.
All right, this is two of pentacles or coins. I see a juggler. I see happiness, joy. I see juggling. I see he's dancing, hopping on one foot.
This is actually a really interesting card. There's like ships on waves in the background,
Ships,
showing
yeah.
like the flow, but then his coins are in an infinity symbol. So that
Mm-hmm.
also shows like never-ending flow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Balance,
Balance, yeah, that's a good word.
the ups and downs of life. See.
I think it means that since he's juggling the infinity thing, it's just gonna keep on going. Even you're up one day, you're down the next, but the next day will just be different.
That's absolutely what it doesn't mean, Charlie. No.
You're wrong.
You're absolutely wrong.
Leap.
Yes.
These cards are subjective. Anybody can pull any meaning that they want from them, but you're wrong, Charlie. No, just kidding. All right, we got the King of Swords. Tell me what you see here, Kayla. Boop. Rapid fire, what do you see there? What does that make you feel when you see it?
King of Swords. Leadership of the front line. I see butterflies. Maybe he holds life in his hands.
Wonderful life.
I like that. Leadership on the front line. Butterflies, so he's got a sword, but yet there's butterflies in the picture. That says a lot.
He's protecting life, maybe.
I think butterflies mean like extreme growth, like a huge transformation.
I like that, Felix. That's cool.
He seems like a just ruler.
A just ruler. If that was going to tell you something about your future, the near future, what would you think it's telling you?
I'm gonna be a foreman.
You're going to be a foreman? You're going to be a just ruler?
Well, he's sitting down, so it means that the battle is over. He can just relax.
He's sitting down, that means the battle is over. I like that.
I legitimately thought in my head
That's
that
cool.
we're gonna see the pinnacles.
What was that?
Last night we were hanging out, and he was like, "What card do you think we're gonna pull today?"
And everyone just stayed
And
quiet.
we stayed quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But in my head, I thought the King of Swords. And he said that he thought a Pentacles card, and we pulled both.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Y'all were talking about that last night?
Yeah.
You said the King of Swords.
We didn't say it out loud to each other.
Oh, and you,
'Cause
and you,
none of us wanted to say it out loud.
yeah,
I was falling asleep.
Yeah, Charlie was up.
I genuinely just,
really?
Charlie was thinking
I was brain dead.
the 10 of sleep. That was her.
The 10 of sleep. I like that. Well, yeah, all powerful cards, all good omens, good signs. I like Charlie said, he's sitting down, so the battle is over, right?
Yeah.
You said a just ruler.
True.
All right, guys, I think we nailed it again. So we
Sure did.
bow to each other.
Yeah, dude. It's fun.
Now for tacos.